Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket has reportedly been damaged during transport, casting doubt on its upcoming second launch and its role in NASA's lunar ambitions. With scheduled delays and technical challenges mounting, analysts now question whether Blue Origin can maintain pace with SpaceX's Starship program, or if this marks another costly setback. Let's dive right in. Blue Origin entered 2025 with a surge of confidence. After years of delays and setbacks, the New Glenn rocket finally made its long-awaited debut. A successful first flight that reignited hope inside Jeff Bezos's space empire. For a brief moment, it looked like Blue Origin was finally catching up to SpaceX. But that sense of progress didn't last. 9 months have gone by since that historic launch, and the rocket's second mission, expected to prove its reliability, is still grounded. The launch window has slipped multiple times, and now, new reports reveal a worrying twist. New Glenn's upper stage was damaged during transport. This incident occurred while the fully assembled vehicle was being moved for a planned static fire test in Florida. Both stages were already mated, meaning any small vibration or impact during horizontal transport could have caused structural strain, especially on the upper stage's composite frames and internal tanks. Sources describe the damage as minor, but in the aerospace world, even a small dent can mean weeks of inspection, modeling, and verification. And this isn't the first time it's happened. In August last year, another New Glenn upper stage reportedly buckled under thermal shock when it was transferred too quickly from a humid hangar to a cooled facility. A failure one insider compared to a crushed soda can. The recurrence of such issues raises an uncomfortable question. Has Blue Origin's production process truly matured to the level needed for an orbital-class heavy launcher? While Blue Origin has made undeniable engineering progress, building a reliable launch vehicle isn't just about perfecting the hardware. It's about developing a culture of rapid iteration and testing, something SpaceX has already mastered through hundreds of flights. Still, not everything is bleak. The upper stage used in New Glenn's first flight performed perfectly, achieving all of its mission goals. The BE-4 engine, shared with ULA's Vulcan, has shown that it can perform under real flight conditions. But the booster's failure to land remains a painful reminder that reusability, the foundation of modern rocket economics, is still unproven for Blue Origin. Now the company faces its biggest test yet. Before another flight can even be considered, engineers must inspect and repair the damaged stage, then requalify it through static fire and verification tests. After that comes payload integration and final checks. Each of these steps takes time, and time right now is Blue Origin's most expensive resource. Because while Blue Origin pauses, SpaceX continues to sprint. In 2025 alone, Elon Musk's company has already launched Starship 5 times, achieving unprecedented progress, including the world's first Mechazilla catch, where the Super Heavy booster was literally grabbed mid-air by giant steel arms. It's a moment that symbolized not just technological prowess, but an entirely different pace of innovation. And here's the harsh reality. Starship's Raptor 3 engines now produce 280 tons of thrust each, compared to Blue Origin's BE-4s at 250. That 30-ton difference may sound small, but it translates into massive performance advantages. Higher payload capacity, lower cost per launch, and longer engine life. Even more striking is the difference in development rhythm. SpaceX builds, tests, destroys, and rebuilds rockets in months. Blue Origin takes years for a single iteration. What once was seen as a sign of precision and caution is now viewed as hesitation. But despite the setbacks, this upcoming New Glenn flight remains a make-or-break moment. It's not just about flying again, it's about delivering NASA's Escapade mission to Mars, marking Blue Origin's first direct collaboration with NASA on an interplanetary spacecraft. The pressure couldn't be higher. This mission will test not only the rocket's reliability, but also the company's credibility with NASA, the Space Force, and commercial clients. And that's where things get even more serious. Blue Origin has contracts tied to Amazon's Project Kuiper, Jeff Bezos's other billion-dollar bet. Kuiper needs dozens of New Glenn launches to deploy its global internet constellation, a direct competitor to SpaceX's Starlink. Every delay at Blue Origin means Starlink pulls further ahead, both technologically and financially. Internally, engineers are racing against time. Quietly, Blue Origin has implemented key design upgrades since the first flight: reinforced structural rings to prevent deformation, improved avionics for better in-flight diagnostics, a stronger heat shield to enable successful booster recovery. In other words, the company is learning, just not as fast as the competition. Engineers have also reworked their transport protocols, introducing vibration monitoring and adjustable cradle supports to prevent damage during movement, the exact issue that sparked the latest delay. Yet the real battle may not be technical at all, it's cultural. Blue Origin's corporate DNA has always been built on secrecy, hierarchy, and precision, admirable traits in some industries, but potentially crippling in modern aerospace, where speed of iteration defines success. SpaceX fails publicly, learns fast, and moves forward. Blue Origin hides its mistakes, and as a result, learns slower. That's why this mission is so critical. It represents more than a launch. It's a test of adaptability. If Blue Origin succeeds, it could regain credibility and momentum. But another delay, or worse, another failure, could reinforce the perception that the company is falling permanently behind. Meanwhile, SpaceX is already assembling Starship Phi-3, the most advanced rocket humanity has ever built. With over 9,000 tons of total thrust and full reusability for both stages, Starship Phi-3 could double New Glenn's payload capacity while slashing costs. The comparison is brutal, and it's only going to get sharper once SpaceX completes its next test campaign. If that happens, the technological gap between the two companies could become impossible to close, at least within this decade. But this is where the story turns from competition to survival. Blue Origin doesn't need to outperform SpaceX immediately. It just needs to prove it belongs in the race. That proof lies in the next launch. Because if New Glenn can deliver NASA's payload flawlessly, recover its booster successfully, and demonstrate reliability at scale, it will mark the company's long-awaited evolution from potential to performance. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not just about rockets or rivalries. It's about whether Blue Origin can transform itself from a company of great ambition into one of great execution. Whether it can finally live up to its motto, gradatim ferociter, step by step, ferociously. The world is watching closely. Every test, every rollout, every delay now matters more than ever. Space is no longer just a frontier. It's a proving ground for leadership, innovation, and endurance. So the question remains, can Blue Origin finally deliver on its promise before time and SpaceX leave it too far behind? And this is exactly why New Glenn's next launch could redefine Blue Origin's future. Every challenge, from transport damage to tight schedules, reveals who's truly ready to shape the next era of human spaceflight. What this means is simple. If Blue Origin succeeds, it won't just catch up to SpaceX. It will prove that perseverance and precision still matter in space exploration. As the world watches, the outcome of this mission could reshape NASA's trust in private industry and set the tone for future lunar and Mars projects. So what do you think? Can Blue Origin turn this setback into a breakthrough? Share your thoughts below. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to like this video, comment your view, subscribe to Space Hub, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest updates from the new space frontier. This is Space Hub, where knowledge meets curiosity, and every story brings you closer to the stars. NASA just shocked everyone. They might cancel SpaceX's Artemis moon mission and give it to Blue Origin instead. After years of progress, Starship could lose the contract it earned. Why would NASA risk everything now? Is this really about competition, or is politics and lobbying money twisting the truth behind closed doors? One thing's certain, Elon Musk is furious. Let's dive right in. So why would NASA suddenly move to cancel SpaceX's Artemis contract, the same mission they once called the future of human space exploration? At first glance, NASA claims it's about speed and competition. But behind that statement lies something much deeper, a web of politics, power, and money that could reshape who leads humanity back to the moon. NASA's official story sounds simple. The Artemis lunar program will now be reopened for new contractors, giving others like Blue Origin a chance. But insiders see it differently. This isn't about improving performance, it's about regaining control. For years, NASA's own rocket, the Space Launch System, SLS, has drained billions in taxpayer money while falling behind schedule. The rocket uses refurbished space shuttle engines from the 1980s, then discards them into the ocean after each launch. Each SLS mission costs over $4 billion, with almost nothing reusable. Meanwhile, SpaceX developed fully reusable rockets at less than 2% of that cost, flying multiple times per week. That difference doesn't just look bad on paper. It exposes a painful truth. NASA's traditional system can't compete with the pace of private innovation, and that's exactly why some within the system want to slow SpaceX down. When NASA first chose SpaceX for Artemis, many of its biggest partners, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Blue Origin, were furious. Billions in contracts disappeared overnight. Since then, a wave of political pressure has quietly built up in Washington. According to federal filings, Blue Origin spends over $1 million per year lobbying Congress, while Boeing spends several times that amount. Their influence reaches the very committees that control NASA's $25 billion annual budget. So when deadlines are missed or